So, whenever I have to do a public speaking engagement, I give it a lot of thought about what I'm going to say. And I've discovered the less notes I have, the better off I am. And I've always felt, our secretary across the street, Penny, always says, Margaret, you open your mouth and your heart comes out. And most people usually say, open my mouth and my foot goes in it. So today, I'm going to let my heart be my guide when I speak to all of you about Freymann House, the Ruth's legacy. I am the executive director of the bridge now. Ruth was the second executive director of the bridge, the first woman executive director of the bridge. Woohoo! Started a great legacy for me to follow. When I first met Ruth, I was moved by her courage and to never take no for an answer, to stand up for the kids at all costs, to do the right thing, no matter what. And we're sitting here today in this house because Ruth did not take no for an answer. She found the way. She didn't give up. There are thousands of children that have come through these doors because of you. Their lives have been changed because of you, because of your gift of perseverance and heart and soul. I can only hope to someday be like you, and to not give up, and to always have that courage, and to always put the kids first. That's the bridge. And a lot of that is here today because of you. Yesterday we had an in-service at the bridge. They talked to the senior management team about profiling a bridge person. What do they look like? Who are they? And the thing that came out, the most primary thing that we all lined up under was passion. It would be on dedication, it would be on any of those things, it was passion. And that's you, your passion for the services that the kids in our community needed. Kai Miller is another board member that we dedicated one of our programs, Miller House. And when Kai spoke to the group, she talked about being on hallowed ground when she's in a shelter. That's how I feel today. I feel like I'm on hallowed ground. And I'm here with you, starting it all. I am incredibly honored. And it is our honor at the bridge to dedicate today the new name of the Ridge U Shelter, Freymann House. We love you.
Hi, everybody. Well, when Ruth became executive director of the bridge, I was either president or later, but anyway, reflecting on what Ruth did for the bridge, I guess I could say it was definitely at a crossroads, and maybe it sort of, well, events got it to the crossroads, but also Ruth got it to the crossroads, and she took it forward through opportunities, seized opportunities, dealt with what had to be dealt with, attracted good people for the board and good people to work at the bridge, and it could have just kind of rocked along and not gone forward the way it has, except for Ruth's leadership at that time. And I personally am grateful, and as Margaret said, there are thousands of kids who don't know what they're grateful to.
It's my turn. Ruth, you were executive director in 1975 up till 1980 and stayed connected with the bridge till 1981. but you and your husband happened to meet my husband. I won't say in what capacity. And he came home one day, and I think it was early 2000s, or it might have been late 90s. And he said, I saw Ruth Freymann, and she used to be executive director at the bridge, and she said she has never heard from the bridge since she was director. Well, we fixed that. We reconnected with you, the bridge reconnected with you, we put you on our mail list, we sent you information, we invited you to put something in our 35th anniversary booklet, which you did, and you couldn't come because you were about ready to have your knee replaced. But you wrote a piece in here about your tender at the bridge, which was great. You also did an oral history of the bridge for us on tape, which we have, which we're grateful for the oral history of the bridge during your time there. In May 2004, Ruth and I ended up at McLean Rehab together. She was getting her knee done and I was getting my hip done, so our paths crossed again. And that summer, Margaret and Martha and I invited you to lunch. We sat out on a beautiful sunny day and shared your bridge stories and our bridge stories and stories about our families. Then you and Jeff came here for a view from the bridge, and you got to tour the shelter after about 25 years since you had actually started there. Jeff and Ruth retired to, they did live in Farmington, but they retired to Laurel Nature Retirement Community in Providence, Rhode Island. And in 2011, Margaret, Martha, and I took a little field trip and went to visit them and saw their lovely, I don't know if it's apartment or condo, with pictures of all their family and treasures from all their travels, and it was lovely. Since then, Martha and I have gone each year in the spring. We were there again in June this year and had lunch with them and shared more stories. They're very active still. Jeff, you're head of the association there, I think. Okay, and you go to exercise classes, and Ruth, I know you volunteered, ESL.
No, I back him up.
And you can tell when you walk through that community with them, everyone's saying hello. So they're still thriving there. They're doers. Ruth also wrote her memoirs, and she shared them with us, which has been wonderful. I just reread it this week. Their family has grown over the years from the two of them up to 22. Are you still 22?
22.
And Martha and I, let's see, where's that clip? This is a picture of their family, their Christmas picture. Oh, wow. Oh, their family.
That was celebrating Dad's 90th birthday.
And your birthday too, right here.
Actually, mine too. We won't tell what that was.
Anyway, it's been wonderful to reconnect with you. I'm glad we did. There was so much that we didn't know, and I think because the bridge was so grassroots and it was just getting going, and we weren't very good about our communications, and I think we're much better now, so we're so happy we got to connect with you. I have something for you. I have a copy for Maya for this shelter, and I have a copy for you as well. It says Ruth Freymann, passionate about helping kids. Now, I did make one mistake on there because I had 1975 to 1979 in a little history that we'd written up. And I guess you truly were executive director till 1980.
I think so.
Yes, so I can have this changed.
White out.
But
White out.
You were
Junction 1019 opened its doors in 1978. The name was later changed to the Bridge Youth Shelter. In 2013, the home was renamed Freymann House in honor of the woman most responsible for its beginning, Ruth Freymann. In 1971, Ruth volunteered at the Bridge, then a fledgling grassroots organization, later became a board member, and eventually the second executive director of the Bridge from 1975 to 1980. Ruth secured a federal grant that helped to stabilize and expand the bridge. She struggled through controversy to open a temporary shelter for teen runaways and was finally successful in December of 1978. I also have one for Mike.
Well, can you say something?
It would be wonderful.
I hardly know what to say, but thank you from the very bottom of my heart. When I first came to the Bridge, it was because this child's father, who was then courting our daughter, was at our house, and I had been in a Gestalt seminar with two very scruffy youth ministers who were volunteering at the Bridge. And we'd gotten to be friends, and they invited me to come over and visit them while they were at the Bridge. So I asked Andy, her father, if he'd give me a ride there, because I was a little nervous being an old lady with all these young people, whether they'd accept me or not. Funny thing is, Andy thought I was asking him to drive me to a Bridge game. Which would have been much more appropriate for that. I never did what was appropriate. It was a lot of people putting a lot of dedication. George, what would I ever have done without you hanging in there when I needed a backup over and over again? What would I have done? And leading the board into a much better situation. It was just an awful lot of people doing an awful lot of things, and I feel privileged to have been part of it. It's been a big part of my life. And every time I hear you say it helped kids, I feel immensely rewarded. Nobody knows me anything for the gap. We were burned out, there was a lot of turmoil, and I was out in my corner. John brought me out of that while he was doing periodonture. So, thank you all for being here, thank you all for listening to the story, and thank you for all your kind words. I really treasure them.